Joining me now with more is David Stryzewski. He's CEO of Sound Planning Group. David, good to have you as always.
Great to be with you.
Now, we see stocks hovering right near record highs. What do you make of the market at these levels?
I love stocks at record highs. I mean, who doesn't love moments like this? It's amazing the V-shaped recovery that we saw just coming out of this thing. Obviously, we've got this big, beautiful bill. I like to call it the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act 2.0. This could be a catalyst into, some bigger growth right now. Obviously, that's what we're seeing. I'm a little bit cautious, though, right now, and because when everyone becomes so bullish about everything, I just say, you know what, maybe something could go wrong. There's so much geopolitical tension all over the world. There's so many things that could happen in the banking industry with $9 trillion that needs to get metabolized in debt this year. Who knows where this goes? So I'm cautiously optimistic.
Interesting. And so how are you positioning your portfolios, or what are the conversations, David, you are having with clients in this environment?
Okay, so some of the same names are going to continue to work, but some of those names are changing. And so I believe that in the 21st century, we need to harden up our portfolio, our balance sheet. So I'm a big fan of metals. Metal miners have not been appreciating in the same way that we've actually even seen the price of metals appreciate, which has actually been really depreciated as well. So, silver just went through 38 today. I'm positioning portfolios towards juniors and senior miners. Obviously looking at AI and tech as a real important idea there. Oil and gas. I don't think that they're going to be cutting dividends at any time soon. And so, just a couple of different names there, maybe alternative to what most people are saying.
I do want to talk about cryptocurrency because Bitcoin at yet a new record high. And it seems like this cryptocurrency does have a lot of momentum at its back. What's your view?
Okay, so Bitcoin's at 118 here this morning, just getting started. There's only 21 million possible Bitcoin, 20 million have been already mined. We've got a big week coming up in crypto next week with legislation on the table, get the Genius Act passed, get a couple of different things through. The world where I was speculating when I was purchasing originally, they're now allocating. MicroStrategy, obviously Michael Saylor and what he's done has been exceptional. A lot of different businesses out there today are taking their balance sheets and saying, the US dollar's down 11% this year. Why don't I put it into some Bitcoin, the best performing asset since its inception in 2008. And so I think that we're probably gonna see Bitcoin at 250,000 by the 250th anniversary next July 4th.
Interesting.
And I think it gets there pretty quick actually from this place.
Interesting. What does that mean for a precious metal like gold?
Okay, so gold is in a very interesting time frame right now. Central bankers don't do anything that's not in their best interest, so let's just say that to start. The second is that gold is the only asset out there that doesn't have a counterparty risk. So it has been the 3,000, 5,000-year-old transfer of wealth. I think that gold's going to do really well, specifically under the stable coins. See, when stable coins have been traditionally treasuries, and that's been one of the ways that we've been selling treasuries, actually. We need an answer. But now the Genius Act makes provision for gold and silver above ground that's held in a vault. I'm hoping that they'll get some below ground legislation as well, because there's a lot of assets maybe in Yellowstone National Park that we're never going to mine that might actually be real assets that could become a part of our strategic wealth reserve. But I think gold is going through the roof from here. It leads the way, but watch how silver follows. Silver hit 38 this morning. I think that you're going to see silver at $50 here, maybe even within the next 60 days. And I think you're probably going to get closer to $100 by the end of the year. And I know that sounds pretty crazy, but silver is so low in cost right now. It's the most undervalued asset or commodity in the world, in my opinion.
You referenced earlier, David, geopolitical risks and concerns that we see, obviously tensions happening around the world in certain spots. I do want to turn to trade in particular, right? Because now what was supposed to be a deadline of this week is pushed back to August 1st. What are you telling your clients in terms of how they should view the changes in trade policy?
Okay. Obviously a very different world today than what we had last year. So as we move forward into a quote-unquote new tariff world, we've got to ask some real questions. How have they affected us so far? They really haven't. How will they? They probably will. We are getting new trade partners, but here's the reality. It's kind of like financial World War III, where we're not seeing physical World War III maybe as much. And so the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, etc., these have all aligned and said that we believe in a more gold-backed type of a currency. And so I think that they're moving towards a scenario like that, and that affects trade here in the United States and our trading partners. It might come with higher tariffs for them, but I think that they're looking at the US dollar and they're saying, hey, this is 37 trillion now, but we exceeded that threshold. This is very, very, very high. How do we continue to move forward and continue to buy IOUs on future US dollars, the 10-year bond or further? They're looking at alternatives out there, and so
You referenced the Fed earlier. A lot of traders obviously waiting for the Fed decision at the end of the month. Looks like they might hold steady on rates. What do you think is the right course?
Okay. The Fed has got a hard way to go forward here. I don't think that they're dropping rates because we've not really seen challenges yet. You can't really drop rates when you're at record highs. Historically, where we are at on the Fed funds rate is actually pretty low. And it's more normal actually, but we've just come from a non-normal time frame for almost 15 years at zero interest rates. So our economy's backwards. There's going to be pain either way. I kind of feel like we're in the middle of a construction project, but we have to live in the house while the construction project's going on. It's a little bit messy and dusty and whatever else. It's going to be a little confusing, but hopefully the outcome is better. Hopefully the need to do it was the right timing.
It's interesting. We've seen some successful IPOs this year. Certainly Circle one of them earlier this summer, a triple-digit pop, more than 100% in its first day of trade. At the same time that happened here on the floor, I was actually at Money 2020 in Europe, and the one term that I think everyone was talking about was stablecoins. You referenced it earlier. What is the opportunity here?
Okay, so stablecoins basically give us an ability to go in and out of cryptocurrencies back into like the US dollar. Interestingly, there have been stablecoins in the euro, and basically those in Europe, like only 4% even want the euro, 96% want US dollars. So US dollar is the king, and I think in stablecoins, this is really the way that we continue to lead as a nation and continue to get our currency accepted around the world. So we've got the 10-year Treasury of the United States, which is the world's reserve asset, while the US dollar is the world's reserve currency. The world's reserve asset has been threatened because we print. I think the strategic wealth reserve and different policy changes that we're making as a nation position us once again to be able to lead. And then with those stable coins, really the opportunity here is that we still define the game. We still define where we go in the world of currency and money in the future, and ultimately this gives us an on-ramp to be able to transact and trade cross-border in a way that everyone's going to be a little bit more accepting to.
All right, David Stryzewski joining me in studio. He's CEO of Sound Planning Group. David, thank you.
Thank you very much.